I was in 8th grade.
I was on the East Coast. I was going to my rehearsal.
That day, I wasn't in New York.
I was living and working in Baku, Azerbaijan. I was an English teacher.
We did not really think anything was wrong or out of the ordinary.
I got into the studio and someone came in who had just listened to the radio and told us all this shocking news.
Our teacher turned on the radio.
As usual, the TV was just on in the background. It was always on. And the news report came on about the Twin Towers being hit.
At first I thought, this can't be happening.
And it just took a moment for it to sink in.
No one believed it. It didn't seem real.
My father was a New York firefighter, and he was at ground zero from shortly after the towers fell. I want to say it was probably 24 or 36 hours before we saw him again.
Tried to call my parents, and I couldn't because the telephone was not working properly. Everybody was making a phone call.
And those of us who didn't need to call anyone just lay there in the dance studio, holding each other.
4 of my classmates from my high school were in those towers. Christian Regenhard, he was an artist. He traveled around the world, and he joined the fire department. That day, like hundreds, thousands of people, he responded. Christian entered that building, and he never came out. Unfortunately, they never found him.
My uncle worked in one of the towers and was killed when the first plane hit. And so it is a day that I think continues to live with us.
The students, the teachers, people that I didn't even know who had never spoken to me before stopped me. They told me how sorry they felt.
On that day, we saw some of the worst things, but we saw some of the best things. That students from my high school walked around the corridors with a sign, and it said, "I'm from the Bronx. I live near here. Come home with me."
I didn't own a television at that time, so I didn't see the images over and over again. I was grateful for the space to be able to process and support others in my own way.
It hit us at such a formative time in our lives that event is almost inextricable from who we are and who we've grown into being.
I remember the words of our governor at the time, who said something that has stuck with me for nearly 25 years. The terrorists fly the planes into the towers, and we send firefighters and police officers in to save them.
It was a tragic event. It was a horrible thing, but it's a good chance again for us to come together and think about how we can be sympathetic and compassionate to other people and realize that we're human together.
I'm a New Yorker, and in New York, we say, we will never forget.